I did a Google search for Trump supporter attacked and attack Trump supporter. And do you know what comes up? Do you think a bunch of stories pop up where it's like a roving band of Trump supporters targeted a little old lady? A roving band of men in MAGA hats yelling, "This is MAGA country, smashed windows." Nope. What comes up is Trump supporters who are victims of crimes, from harassment to, general harassment and also physical attacks. Which brings me to this story. California man who attacked MAGA hat wearing bar patron in a restroom faces 4 years in prison. Wow. 4 years in prison. So I saw this. I did a Google search. And of course, all of the stories in recent history are Trump supporters being victims. And I want to explain to you one quick thing that I've mentioned in other videos. But now that I got your attention in the beginning, do you know why all these big companies bend the knee to the left? Google search attacks political Trump or whatever, and you'll see why. The far left will beat you. They will smash your window, set fires. So all these companies bend over backwards saying, "Please, I'm such a pathetic loser. I'm such a loser. Please don't hurt me." I'll tell you what, when the far left wants to show up with a crowbar and threaten to whack me with it, I'll say, just whack me with it. You don't believe me? Watch the video of me in Boston when the Antifa guy got in my face, started swinging at me, and I stood my ground. But too many of these people are pathetic and refuse to do anything about it. Stand up for yourself for once. Grow a spine. Well, at least we can see some consequences. This guy's facing 4 years in prison. Fox News reporting. A California man faces 4 years in prison for attacking a bar patron who was wearing a red "Make America Great Again" hat in a restroom last year. David Delgado, 32, pleaded no contest to one count of felony assault by means of force, likely to produce great bodily injury, the Los Angeles District Attorney's Office said in a news release. The attack happened on September 2nd, 2019, at a restaurant in downtown Hermosa Beach. The victim was wearing a red hat with white lettering written in Russian that translated to "Make America Great Again," a prosecutor said. Delgado approached the man and asked him what was written on the hat, police said. After the victim responded, police said the suspect repeatedly punched him in the face. The victim fell to the ground, and Delgado continued to punch him before eventually stealing his hat and fleeing from the restaurant, according to police. Authorities said they used surveillance footage to identify Delgado and arrest him at his home without incident. Delgado is scheduled to be sentenced May 28th. Throw the book at this man. Now, I'll be honest with all of you. I think 4 years is a long time. I don't know if it's going to solve any problems. I don't like the idea of how our criminal justice system works. Donald Trump, in fact, had led the charge on bipartisan criminal justice reform, and that generated a lot of support in the black community for him. So 4 years, I don't know. What I do know is I'm glad to see this guy was arrested, charged, and he pled. It would have been great to see him convicted by a jury of his peers, but he pled no contest. Now, it's weaseling out. That no contest basically means you're giving up, but you don't admit guilt. It exists so you say, "I never pled guilty," but, the prosecution basically wins. Typically, if you plead not guilty, you'll get a really harsh penalty. And my general understanding is that a no contest plea, you get a harsher penalty to an extent. There's something called a trial tax or a jury tax. And that's if you plead not guilty in any instance, the court typically will punish you much more harshly than if you plead guilty because, as most of us know, it's because they feel like you're wasting their time. But the excuse they give is that they feel like you haven't learned your lesson by admitting guilt. Well, okay, so to get off that tangent, back to the main point. I'm never a big fan of locking people up and throwing away the key and giving them lengthy prison sentences. But I want you to think about what this story is. A man minding his own business, wearing a hat, and some crazy dude walks up to him and starts repeatedly bashing him in the face. Lock that dude up. It's not even about reforming him to an extent. I'm all about rehabilitation, but this dude is dangerous and violent and attacks random people. Lock that dude up. I am a rather freedom-minded person, but as a liberal, I think it's a good thing that we have criminal justice, English common law, innocent until proven guilty. Well, this guy got found out on camera. They saw him doing it. He got arrested, and now he is going to go away for a long time. You want to argue about the length of time? I'm totally down. But it's about time we start seeing justice in this regard. Too often in our current political landscape, it is Trump supporters getting beaten and knocked down. And you know what? It's a challenge, but the media lies about this. It's how the media plays this game. They ignore the stories. They lie about the stories. Is it any surprise to you that it's Fox News I'm reading this on? You think Bernie Sanders supporters are going to come out and say, "Oh, what a horrible thing," or these resistance Democrat types are going to come out and talk about it? Nope. They'll push fake news, though. You know, certain people like Sean King, for instance, they'll push fake news, making false claims about fake victims. You'll see Jussie Smollett. That guy tried to get the Supreme Court, I think it was the Illinois Supreme Court, to dismiss his case. They said, nope, you're going to trial, buddy. I think he got 6 new felony indictments. Here's what you will get when you Google search Trump supporters and attack or otherwise. You will find stories, fake hate crimes. There was a recent story. A couple people ran some kids off the road, some kids on bikes with Trump flags, ran them off the road, and then apparently on video said that if they tried to do anything about it, they would claim that the kids were yelling racial slurs. Hoax hate crime. Jussie Smollett, hoax hate crime. Now, okay, innocent until proven guilty. We'll wait to see what the courts decide on Jussie Smollett, but most of us have basically already determined as such. I think it's dangerous. I certainly think Jussie is guilty. I do think there's an important reason why we have our justice system set up the way it is, so I look forward to hearing a court decree that this man staged this. The police seem to think they have the evidence to prove it. I'm going to wait and see the conviction. I think that's fair. I also think it's fair to say, based on the evidence we've seen so far, come on, man, who believes that guy? A couple dudes shut up in the middle of the night yelling MAGA country. The stories we hear from the left about Trump supporters attacking them are caricatures of real life, just like we see with, feminist movies. You watch a movie like Birds of Prey. Remember that? I did some reviews on it. You basically have a plot that's based upon these perceived slights that don't exist. One of the characters' motivations is that this man got a promotion over me. They live in this weird world that doesn't exist. And that's exactly what we see from the left when they hoax these hate crimes. What was Jussie Smollett thinking with having 2 guys scream MAGA country? He could have literally just said, he was walking on the street and he saw a guy get out of a car with a Trump bumper sticker and he started yelling stuff at him and they got into a fight. People would be like, oh, that sounds believable. Guy with a Trump bumper sticker? Yeah, that could happen. But 2 guys in MAGA caps yelling MAGA country who happen to have a jar of bleach? What are you thinking? It's insane. Now look at this story. A guy says he was wearing a hat and someone started repeatedly punching him in the face. It's entirely believable. It's based in reality. It's not a caricature of anything. We've seen Antifa. We've seen the fringe far left going out and smashing windows. So when you hear a story like this, you're like, makes sense. These are the 2 disparate realities. You will find these when you read all of the news. And I want to say I wonder why the media doesn't cover it properly. I'm not surprised. I get it. It's bias, and we all know it's bias. But for some reason, every single day we can see these and still no reaction. It was like July of 2016. I can't remember. I was in San Jose and I watched a guy walking on the sidewalk, minding his own business, and someone whacked him in the back of the head with what was described as a bag of rocks. And the guy started bleeding and he was like, what? Like, why? He just came out with a sign. They started spitting on him and all that stuff. That was when I first started to see how insane these people were. So think about how this impacts marketing, commercials, social media, the rules. I hate to say it, but as long as these people aren't being charged and arrested, as long as they're attacking people and getting away with it, the more it will happen. Now, you've had some people say that Antifa should be designated a terror organization or something like that. Maybe, I don't know. It's a banner. It's a loose knit group, kind of like, pirates, I guess. No, calling them pirates makes them sound too cool. Fine, whatever. They're a bunch of whiny, weak little kids who go around bashing skulls because they're emotionally disturbed. But when these people get away with it, when the media won't call them out, they have absolutely no incentive to stop. But worse still, when big media companies and tech companies actually bend the knee to these lunatics, they're encouraged to do it more. You have a media that will call a Trump supporter all of the worst names in the book. And because of that, brands are scared to associate with Trump supporters. But then you have these people who go around bashing skulls, and brands have no problem aligning with these groups. Do you know that J.K. Rowling recently put in a permit to get a 1.2 meter high fence? Not very high. It's like 4 feet. But she wanted to put in a security gate in front of her house because she's been getting a bit of the harsh business on Twitter for daring to stand up for a woman who said that men can't change into women. An opinion on the internet. And that was enough to incite threats against this author who now needs a security gate. As long as these people don't get banned and the media and our society doesn't call them out, it will continue to get worse. I don't know what the answer is going to be. How do you make the media care when the media basically is full of people who like what's happening? I don't know. I can tell you that if it isn't stopped, the system will continue to shake until it shakes enough and destabilizes. I don't think anybody wants that to happen. I mean, I guess except for them. But you can see it here in these stories. We're starting now to see some enforcement. Okay. I look forward to seeing Jussie Smollett face justice. I look forward to seeing this guy face justice, and hopefully this is a change where we can start putting an end to this kind of lunacy. There's real challenges involved in where you draw the line at security. We can argue these Trump supporters should defend themselves, and they should to a certain degree. But you know what? The way things are set up right now, these people have an easy pass towards going around and attacking innocent people. This is a good start. Lock them up. Lock them all up. Remember Bike Lock Basher in Berkeley? That guy got what, probation? Nah. 4 years in prison. But you know what? This guy might actually get probation. And that to me is worrisome. If these people keep getting away with it, you know what'll happen. I'll leave it there. I'll see you all tomorrow at 10 a.m. on this channel. Thanks for hanging out.